Well, hello everyone, Texie88 here and welcome to another review. And now we're taking a look at 3D Pool for the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. And it was released by Firebird Software in the UK in 1989. And as you probably guessed by the name, it features 3D graphics. It looks like it also came out on the Amiga, Amstrad CPC, Atari ST, BBC Micro, Commodore 64, an MSX, and also an unofficial Commodore Plus/4. So, without further ado, let's see if this plays a good game of pool, shall we? So it looks like another alternate title to this is Maltese Joe's Pool Challenge. So you can play a best of 3 frames in quarterfinals with look at the different match types. There's player versus player, demo mode, practice, trick shots. But we'll just have a bit of a mini quarterfinals type thing. So let's do that. Enter new tournament. So it looks like I'm against Jack Derrida. So I can place the cue ball somehow. And pressing left and right allows you to rotate the table left and right. And that's Z and X on the keyboard. K and M, or up and down respectively, allows you to raise the view and lower it like that. I'm just going to get it so the ball's facing. You can also press the U button to look at the table from the exact opposite angle to that which you're looking at. And as you probably guessed, that ball that's animated in the foreground at the moment is the cue ball. It's a compromise they had to make because the Spectrum's attribute limitations means it can't do the same kind of colours that other computers would have been able to do. There would have been horrific attribute problems if they did that. So you can also press the C button to change colour table. I think I'll stick with the yellow actually. So I'm just gonna. Now, when you're ready to shoot, you can press the enter. You can press and hold down enter, and you can use up and down to whilst holding down the enter key to raise and lower the power. See in the top right corner, and you can also use left and right if you wish to put side spin on the ball. And you can also press the V button if you want to change the colour of the border. You make it black. And I just tap. And it looks like I'm playing the stripy balls because I just potted a. Got to be a bit careful not to touch that solid ball in front of me there. Yeah, that'll do. Oh. Yeah, because I hit a non-striped ball first. So now it's the CPU player's turn, and they've just potted one of the solid balls. So, the other player's going. Thinking. Can you think a bit faster, please? I mean, you're a computer. You must be able to think a bit faster than this. I mean, this is angles. Computers are really good at angles. Come on, hurry up and... Oh, it looks like you can do... Come on, hurry up. See, this is already a bit of a problem. The fact that it can take the CPU opponent so long to think of a move. And you can also use O to zoom out and I to zoom in within reason. Now I've got to be really careful how I do this, because that's the only real ball I can go for here. I've just got to be careful how I do it. Oh, I had the right idea. I couldn't quite get the angle right. I don't understand why oh, it took a bit less time that time. Well, a lot less time. Still their turn because they potted one of their balls. Oh dear, thinking again. I hope it's not going to take as long as its first turn, because that was really tedious. Let's see if I can pot that striped ball there. Oh, darn it. Didn't get the angle right. Good. I can actually rotate the table even when it's not my turn. Kind of wish I'd known that until before just then, because it would have meant I'd be able to see what the computer just potted. Oh, the black ball's very dangerously close to that pocket. If that goes down before its end game, then the player that knocks it in automatically loses. Oh, come on, hurry up and think faster. Yeah, I know you're thinking. Hurry up. Yeah, it really is a shame that even for relatively simple things, it has to take so bleeding long to think about its next move sometimes. Ooh, bloomin' hell. You were lucky, you sob. I gotta look at... Yeah. It's not letting me zoom in anymore. So. Yeah, he potted that ball. So it's still my turn. Let's see if I can pot that one in the far left. The far left. Darn it. Close, but I didn't quite get the angle right. More thinking. Ah, that's a bit better. It didn't take forever and a day that time. I'm not going to play a full game, obviously, because this is just a review, but it's quite interesting what they've managed to put into it and how they got around the attribute problem by having the ball animate like that, the cue ball animate like that, so you could tell which one it was which. And it's very rare that you can't tell which are the striped balls and which are the solid coloured balls, and it's not very obvious which is the 8 ball. Can't imagine how you'd know which ball's the 8 ball, but yeah, I mean, yes, I am being sarcastic. I'm going to put some side spin on this to. Ooh, oh, it's good that they managed to get some side spinning on this. I mean, this actually predates Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker and Archie McLean's Pool, and this is on an 8-bit computer, a 48 kilobyte Spectrum. And the frame rate isn't too appalling either. I mean, I know it doesn't have to matter too much because it's pool, which isn't reliant on reflexes or anything like that, so it's not quite the same issue. So let's see if we can get this bad boy in. No, that's not quite right, I don't think. Is that okay? Oh, I see. It's because of the viewpoint, which determines whether or not I'm hitting the ball dead in the centre. See in the top middle of the screen, there's a picture of a cue ball with a black dot in the middle. That's telling me whereabouts on the ball the cue is going to hit if I strike where I currently am. Oh, that was so close. Ooh, you were lucky. I'm going to have to put some serious. Yeah, that was right to put some backspin on that, because otherwise the ball would have just got. No, otherwise, when the ball would have probably just gone in the pocket itself as well. That ball there is going to be a problem. Let's see if we can put. What happens if we put a bit of top spin on this? I'm just going to make sure I've got the angle lined up correctly. I think I have. Maybe Oh, blast. I miscued it. I completely missed everything there. So, as you can see, the free ball that the opponent got for me missing every single ball is shown by 2 cue balls underneath its own ball type. See, in the top left corner, it's showing that I'm supposed to be going for the striped balls because that was the first type of ball I potted. And in the top right shows that the computer opponent's going for the non-striped ones. So that's the first shot, and now it's his or her free shot. I suppose it's Jacques Derrida. So that Derrida. So that's likely to be male. Yeah. Oh, it's not letting me alter the view to more thinking. This thinking thing is the thing that lets it down the most. So it's really best if you can find a human opponent to play against, because the computer quite often just takes far too long to think of its moves. I have to admit, for a 48K Spectrum, it does a pretty good sound effect for balls being hit and them going into the pockets. I mean, obviously, it's... Oh, you've got to be having a giraffe. There's my turn again. Probably have another go or two more and then wind up the review and give my final verdict. Right. Got to think about this one. No, I didn't do it hard enough. And that's another reason you're better off playing against a human opponent. Computers are rather too good at angles. Oh, now he's potted all his gold balls. Now he's going for the black. So I don't think this game's going to go on much longer anyway, because he's potted all his balls. But no, I can't really complain about it being too slow. I mean, despite the fact it's using three... he's beaten me. He potted the black. Hard luck player 1. Well, I think that's perfect because it means I can wind up the review and go for my final verdict. Well, considering it's using vector graphics, I can't really complain about the pace because for a 48K ZX Spectrum, that's a pretty good pace it's keeping up. I mean, obviously there was a limit to how much detail could be on a 3D vector graphic pool table on an 8-bit computer. But all things considered, I'm quite impressed with what it's managed to pull off. Graphics, well, obviously with the Spectrum's attribute problem, they had to stick with monochrome. But you can choose, as you saw, you can choose a selection of colours as well as the border colour until you find one which is as comfortable as you feel as possible. I just went for yellow and black as I mean, you can choose white and black if you want, but personally I found that a bit too overpowering, whereas yellow had a good balance between clarity and not being too bright. So, and they came up with a pretty nifty idea of having the cue ball flashing to help distinguish it from the solid coloured balls, and obviously the striped ones are very easy to determine which ones are striped because the stripes show up even when the balls are in the distance. And of course the 8 ball is very easy to spot because it's totally black. But no, it looks like a pool table, and it's convincing enough to pass as a pool table given the restrictions of the hardware. Sound effects, pretty good for a representation of balls hitting each other and going in pockets. I mean, remember this is a 48K ZX Spectrum, which didn't actually have a sound chip, or the 48K Spectrum did sound directly from the CPU, so obviously its capabilities were quite limited. Gameplay. Well, although the limitations of the hardware mean it's a little bit difficult to get angles correct due to the screen resolution compared to what could later come with the aforementioned Jimmy White's Whirlwind Sloop and Archer McLean's Pool on the 16-bit computers. Even allowing for that, this does a pretty good job. And even though this predates those Archer McLean games, they still managed to put in top spin, back spin, and side spin either side, as you saw. I mean, you can't zoom into the view as much as I perhaps would have liked, but then maybe that was a limitation that was forced upon on the Spectrum in order to keep the frame rate up. Yeah, my only real gripe with this game is that if you're up against a computer, as you saw, there were some occasions where even when it was relatively straightforward, it just took way too long to think about its next move. So it's definitely preferable if you can play against a human opponent. But all in all, I'm quite impressed. Even although whether or not it's enough to hold attention for a really long time is going to be down to the individual. I mean, the fact that it's got that problem of the computer opponent taking too long might mean that tournaments could take quite a while, which is a bit of a shame. I mean, it's got things like the trick shot thing, which you can probably have a bit of fun. Fun diversion from regular pool. But yeah, it plays generally well, and it's probably as good as the Spectrum was ever going to get to the in terms of trying to replicate the real deal. So I'll quite happily give 3D Pool 7 out of 10. It's a quirky little number, and if you're into pool, you might want to give it a whirl just to see an early pool simulation that uses 3D vector graphics and has a fair bit of depth considering the limitation of the hardware. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for 3D Pool by Firebird on the ZX Spectrum. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that review. Catch you on another video soon. Texie88 out.